California or Oregon talking about Pommard clones or Dijon clones or exactly.
It's, I mean, it's California, but it's also Burgundy, or it's anywhere in the world. It's the same thing. It's kind of marketing with something that works, and the notion of clones is, to me, somewhere wrong if you just do one. For example, if you plant the same clone everywhere in your land, it's a big mistake, because if you happen to have one trouble, the whole land will be damaged. And so it's always difficult to put marketing before agriculture. It's nice to have marketing after agriculture because it's necessary. But you have the same thing. I think when people planted California 100 years ago, they had no idea which type of soil, which type of grape variety they were planting. Now, when you look back 100 years after, you have people talking about terroir, you have people talking about different grape variety and soil and different climates. And so what happened, it's actually they understood their land, they are growing properly, and they're doing a fine job. Then you will have people everywhere, all over the world, who will not understand that, or will just always market what's work, and it's a pure copy. That's not only in the US, it's everywhere in the world.
You stole a question from my head. I'm glad you asked it, because that was what I was thinking when you were talking about clones. And then, in a similar vein, when you say to me that taking a clipping from an old vine and trying to reproduce that, and it just will not, there's also a lot of talk about old vine versus young vine in a bottle as far as marketing. Is there, where's that discussion?
For us, I mean, for example, at Damien, the notion of young plant is very clear. Out of 17 hectares, we planted 15 in 30 years. So on land we were completely abandoned after the phylloxera. So there were no agriculture. There were nearly forest. So we really, I mean, that is history of the domain. For us, the notion of terroir is really, it's a relation between the plant and the soil. If you talk to some people like Yves Rodi, which is a kind of one of the big podologue, which knows about the soil and works a lot in Burgundy, said that the plant has capacity to mineralize some of the rock, the mother rock, and create some aromas. But that notion takes sometimes 5, 7, 10, 15 years, 20 years, according to the soil, the nature of the soil. So there is not one rule, there's thousands of rules. And for example, for the domain, we have the Macron Village, the first wine, and we have the cuvée, for example, Les Perrières. And the young vines of Les Perrières, we've been waiting 15 years before adding them to the plant, because if you are doing tasting at the beginning, you realize that young vines are making very fine wine. You have the same degrees, you have the same acidity, you have the same everything. But when you do tasting, you don't have the minerality of the wine, and you don't have the expression of the terroir. So, and also if you keep the wines, they might not keep as well as the old vines. So there is a time for the vines for the adaptation to the soil and to express it, which might answer the question.
Mm-hmm.